In this video, we will talk about how to find the surface area of a rectangular pyramid. So let's check out this example here. Let's say we have this rectangular pyramid, and it's called a rectangular pyramid because the base shape right here, this is a rectangle. Now, to find the surface area of this rectangular pyramid, we need to find the area of this base rectangle along with the area of the four triangles that extend upward from the rectangle. So here's what we can write. The surface area, I'll abbreviate it as SA, is equal to the area of the rectangle, so we'll say rectangle, plus we also have to find the area of this triangle. Now I like to call this the wide triangle because what we'll notice is that the base of this wide triangle is going to be different than the base of this narrow triangle on the side. So what we'll notice is that this front facing triangle is going to be identical to this back triangle back here. So we have two of these, what I'll call wide triangles. So we'll say we have to find the area of the rectangle and we have to add that two wide triangles. I'll just call it two wide. And then we also have to find the area of these narrow triangles. So this triangle on the right hand side and this triangle over here on the left hand side, they're going to be identical to each other. So we have two narrow triangles. So let's write plus two narrow. Okay, so to find the area of this rectangle, the formula that we can use is just this one side multiplied by the other side. So if we want to call this side, let's call it base, B. We'll call this other side the width. So we just do B times W. So let's write that, B times W. Plus, to find the area of the wide triangles, the formula to find the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we're told that the base right here, we're going to label this B. We have to multiply that by the height. So the height is given right here. Now, this height is usually called a slant height because it's on the slanted portion of the triangle. So it's not extending directly from the center of the rectangle up. It's just extending from the middle of this triangle up. So it's the slant height. So we'll label this as L for slant height, and I'm going to label it 1 because over here we're going to have another slant height. That'll be L2. So to find the area of this triangle, we do 1/2 times the base times L1. And remember, we have two of these triangles. So what we'll find is we'll have to multiply this whole thing by 2. And lastly, we have to find the area of the narrow triangle. So we'll say plus, now the area of these narrow triangles will be also base 1/2 base times height. So the base in this case for these triangles is W, and the slant height that we'll use is this 13 right here. So let's label that as L2. So we can say 1/2 times W times L2. And again, we have two of those triangles, so we have to multiply it by 2. So this is the formula that we can use to find the surface area of this rectangular pyramid. So let's plug in the values that we know. We have B times W, so that's 10 times 5. Plus, now here you'll notice that when we have a 1/2 times a 2, 1/2 times 2 is just 1. So we can just cancel these out and we'll have B times slant height 1. So we have B is 10 and slant height 1 is 12.26. So let's say 10 times 12.26. And then lastly, over here we also have a 1/2 times a 2. So those just multiply to 1, so we can cross those out. So we just need to find W times L2. So W is 5, so we'll say 5, and the slant height 2 is 13. So we get 13. So let's see what we get. 10 times 5 is 50, plus 10 times 12.26. When we multiply by 10, we just have to move the decimal place over 1. So we get 122.6. And then we have 5 times 13, that's 65. So when we add these three together, we get 237.6. And remember, the units we're working in is centimeters. So we'll say centimeters squared since we're talking about surface area. So this is the surface area of this rectangular pyramid. And we can use this exact same process to find the surface area of any rectangular pyramid. Just find the area of the base rectangle, then find the area of the two wide triangles, and then add to that the area of the two narrow triangles.